There's several reasons why a man is not going to be showering his woman that he is dating with a whole bunch of gifts. And we're going to talk about that here. What we're really going to be figuring out together is the difference between how a healthy masculine man is showing up and how we'll call it like a simp man, an approval seeking man, is going to show up with a woman, and what a woman can do to bring out the absolute best in a man to be as generous, caring, devotional as possible with her, considering her needs, making her feel special by not just his wallet, but in all other ways as well. And the reason that I am doing this topic today is I found an interesting little thing on Facebook, a post. I'm going to read this out, and this is from a woman. I'm sorry, but once you date someone with money like you, the game changes. I met someone, and in about 2 to 3 weeks after meeting, he rode in my car, and I noticed I needed new tires. And without me even asking, I got new tires. His words, I'm a man, and I noticed that you didn't handle that, so I'm going to do it for you because you shouldn't have to worry about that. Exactly as my dad would handle it. Them the only kind of I date now. And if you don't, I'ma get one who will, period. Just like I knew he was in the field making money, no time to really eat. I'm coming, bring you this plate of food, or you want me to get something else. Relationships not complex when you date in alignment. Man, I'd really like it if people speak in proper English. That's really hard to get through. Okay, so we are going to analyze this. We're going to talk all about it, the bad and the ugly. Before we do, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Zach Rohde. I'm here to lead you into creating the relationship of your dreams, using your feminine energy and what I call feminine communication to inspire a man into cherishing you. And if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you do that below. Hit the notification bell and be sure to like this video because I'm going to make sure it's a good one for you. And if you would like help learning how to shift out of your unhealthy control patterns that push men away and instead learn how to create the relationship of your dreams with a man, then go below this video, open up the description. You're going to see the links to all of my offers. And the most important one to start with, doesn't cost you anything, is my free women's webinar at zachrohdecoaching.com. Okay, so let's break this down. First of all, this is interesting. He rode in her car. Why is that happening? If he has money, does he not have his own car? And why is he not picking up the woman? A man shouldn't be driving in a woman's car, especially that early, 2 to 3 weeks. He should be the one that is providing that transportation for the woman. If he is in the passenger seat, then he is not leading in that moment. He's making her lead. And that's not going to feel good for a woman. She's not going to feel cherished being in the driver's seat driving a man around. So that in itself is very interesting, very suspect, so to speak. All right, so he noticed that she needed new tires. And without me even asking, I got new tires. His words, I'm a man, and I noticed that you didn't handle that, so I'm going to do it. I shouldn't have to worry about that. So here's the issue. So he has money, first of all. Unless he has a ridiculous amount of money, like if we're talking about new tires, what are we talking about? Like $500 to $1,000, I think typically for new tires. You know, mine typically cost me almost $1,000 on my car. My car is not even that amazing. So that's a reasonable amount of money to be spending on a woman who he has only been dating for 2 to 3 weeks. And so this is what makes me think that this man is actually not in his masculine energy. He's what we would call a simp, right? He is a man who is an approval seeker. He doesn't recognize his self-worth, and he's doing things for a woman to try to gain her favor. And by the way, another hint in this that's pointing towards this is she is talking about this event in past tense as if she is no longer dating him anymore. Why is she no longer dating him? What happened? Did he break up with her? Did she break up with him because he's a simp and because she's not really feeling that spark? Most likely, I would actually say it's the latter. That's the most likely thing. It's like he is giving her all of this stuff because he doesn't recognize his own value, that it's his leadership, his energy, his energetic penetration, his just care in general, like not having to actually spend money on her, that is already providing her with so much value. He's already worthy enough. That doesn't mean a man shouldn't be spending money on a woman, of course, but $500 to $1,000 within 2 to 3 weeks, when in 2 to 3 weeks, a woman has not demonstrated that she is loyal, that she is revering the man. Like, that's a lot in 2 to 3 weeks, that she is fully respectful, that she's going to be following his boundaries. Right? So a man should be investing in a woman. He should be taking care of a woman financially. But there's an order to it. It's like you don't meet a woman and the next day you buy her a house. I should also say, because I posted this and there was actually a really important comment that I didn't think of in the moment, that's another possibility. So he could be a simp, like he's just that nice guy, people pleaser that doesn't have a backbone, so a woman's not really attracted to him. The other possibility is that he's a narcissist or has like a narcissistic traits where he puts on that mask early on of love bombing, of doing all of this amazing stuff for her really early on to get her to feel all of those feelings of like, oh my God, I'm being cherished. And then 3 months, 6 months, a year later, the mask comes off and it's like, this guy is messed up in the head. Many women have experienced something like that. You got conned. And this is why videos like this are important, to point out this kind of behavior, because many women will think that like, yeah, this is a really healthy masculine man. And on the surface, it kind of seems like it, but you got to understand the subtleties of why there's a good chance that he's actually not masculine and he's actually potentially dangerous as well. Of course, but the other thing is it's context dependent. If this guy is a multimillionaire, then he doesn't really care about $500 to $1,000 tires. That's nothing to him. And so it's much more appropriate that he's going to do stuff like that for a woman that hasn't really fully demonstrated that she's amazing, because that money means so little to him. But for a man who's making, say, $50,000 a year, $100,000 a year, that's a much more significant amount of money for a woman that he barely really knows after 2 to 3 weeks. How many dates have you gone on in 2 to 3 weeks? Like 2 or 3 or 4, maybe 5 max? I'm not spending that kind of money if I was single on a woman. 6 months, 8 months into a relationship, once I've decided, hey, this is almost certainly going to be the woman that I'm going to marry, or I'm already thinking about the proposal, now it's a totally different story, right? Now I really am wanting to make her life easier. And I know that my money, I'm not going to be flushing it down the toilet because she's going to be sticking around. Of course she wants to be with me. She's going to have demonstrated it by that time. But 2 to 3 weeks. And so many women have experienced really early on, and you may be one of them, with a man who it's like they did all of these amazing things for you. And you're like, wow, this man is so different. Not realizing that is actually a red flag. Like whether that is like legit love bombing or whether that's just like a people pleasing thing, it's a red flag regardless, because healthy masculine men typically don't do that. I'm going to give you a bit more of a general timeline of like what a healthy masculine man would probably do for a woman as far as financial provision. So this is what I would do if I was single right now, if I wasn't married to my wife. So I meet a woman, I really like her. And maybe I've probably done a phone call with her and found out that I like her enough to take her out on a date, find out more about her. I'm probably not going to spend a whole bunch of money on a first date. And this is, I don't know if I've done a video on this. I might have to do a separate one. But there's this whole thing where women are really against going out for a coffee, going out for a drink. I don't do alcohol, but I do like coffee or hot chocolate or whatever. Going to somewhere relatively casual, low investment, because I don't know if I want to spend 3 hours with a woman and, $100 or whatever at a somewhat okay restaurant yet. I know that I like her enough to find out if she has a great vibe in person, but that's it. And the other thing is, it's also the other way around. I don't want to put a woman in a situation where she's stuck with me for 3 hours if we don't really get along. Just doesn't make any sense. So something casual, spend like $10 or whatever, and we'll find out if we like each other. This is what I did with my wife, by the way. I actually took her out for ice cream on our first date. And then we found out, yeah, we really like each other. And then we went somewhere else. Now, this is where I totally screwed up because I wasn't in my devotional energy. I actually had her pay for the second place, which is a coffee. But doing that today, I'd be paying for that as well. And then if we went out for dinner that same day, which would be quite possible as well, if I really liked a woman, I'd be paying for that as well. A masculine man is going to pay for 100% of the dates. 100%. Not 99, definitely not 50%. 100% of the dates, because he is choosing to be the provider. If he doesn't have enough money to afford that, he shouldn't be dating. He should be focusing on his career and making more money. Other than taking a woman out on dates and dealing with transportation, right? Like, if a woman has a car, she could, it really depends, but handling transportation is something that would be an extra bonus. It really depends on the context. So he should be dealing with that. Other than that, a man shouldn't really be spending much on her. Like, it could get on the first few weeks, like small little gifts. I got my wife a promise ring just for fun. Like, when I decided to claim her, after, it was actually really quick. It was 10 days because I just knew, like, this is the one for me. It was only a few dollars, but it was just supposed to be like a cute, fun thing that I did. Small little gifts, totally appropriate. There could be bigger ones as well. And again, it depends on how much money the man has, right? I didn't have a ton of money back then. I had some. But if a man is a multimillionaire, the gifts are going to be bigger. But we're talking about, it's not about transaction, right? This is not a transactional relationship where it's like, oh, the woman is really submitting to me, so I'm going to do this nice stuff for her to reward her. It's not about that. A man's just going to feel in his body, like, I want to do these things for a woman. A healthy masculine man, coming from a place of inspiration, not people pleasing, not approval seeking, not obligation, just want to do these nice things for a woman. Over time, he can start doing, spending more money on her if he has the means to do so. And that could be, getting her groceries. That could be, I'd say, like 6 months in, buying a woman new tires. If a man's got the money and he knows that it's going somewhere, that's much more appropriate at that point. But it should be much smaller, like way, way smaller, before a man has fully claimed her in a relationship, first of all. Paying for her nails, that kind of stuff. That is all optional. Understand that a man is not required to do that. That should actually be the woman's father that is doing that. Like, traditionally, he should be the one that is taking care of her if there's anything that she really needs, even if a woman can take care of herself. But a man can choose to do that. And a man who is in that really healthy masculine frequency and has the means to do so, he's certainly going to be spending a reasonable amount of money on her before marriage, and he should be leading her towards marriage. Now, to wrap things up, if you have not experienced a man who is increasingly becoming more generous with you over time, if it's a love bomber guy, what you got to do, you got to share your feelings vulnerably about what's coming up for you. That should actually be a red flag, so it should bring up some fear, some concern, some anxiety, and you got to share that. If a man is not increasingly becoming more generous with you, like, let's say it starts out really hot and heavy and then you guys get more comfortable with each other. You're doing like all this Netflix and chill stuff. He's not taking you out on dates anymore. He's not spending money on you. That's a relationship that's kind of dying, right? A man should continue to court his, that's a great topic. I need to do this. He should be courting his woman the entire relationship, the entire marriage. That never ends. Otherwise, the romance ends. A lot of the connection's going to die. The attraction's going to die. So if that kind of flops and he's no longer being really generous and everything, there's an issue. There's an issue with how much he values you. There's an issue with how much attraction he feels for you, how much connection, and how much inspiration he has to take care of you, to be that gentleman, to be chivalrous, to be really generous, to be really considerate. Of course, it's not all about spending money on you. There's so many ways to take care of a woman, but financially should be part of it, right? Like, he should be wanting to spend some amount of money on you. So if that's happening, you got to really check in with yourself and look at, am I in some kind of control patterns? Am I complying? Am I avoiding sharing my feelings vulnerably if I'm not feeling good in some way? Like, am I just settling for crumbs and just not bringing it up? Am I using a more masculine communication style? Am I speaking in judgments? Am I trying to control? Am I the one that's initiating? Am I the one that's planning? And that's just a small sample of control patterns that a woman can be in. All of these control patterns are going to destroy a man's desire to want to take care of you financially and otherwise. So you got to start shifting these control patterns, using feminine communication to share what's coming up for you, and also be willing to flow away from a man. Like, know that you deserve to really be taken care of and to feel really good in a relationship. Now, there's a lot of nuance to that. Like, there's no easy way to say, like, hey, flow away here, don't flow away here. But you do need to start sharing your feelings and see what happens as far as his behavior, if he's willing to step up or not. And if it's already kind of not great and you're not even married to him, it's going to get worse in marriage. So you got to start solving this stuff. You got to start sharing what's coming up for you and see how the man shifts. That all starts with asking him for help with your feelings, being permissive, being honest with your feelings, making sure that you're actually communicating your feelings cleanly, because most women will share feelings that aren't feelings. They'll be like, no, I'm feeling a little bit disrespected. Well, disrespected isn't a feeling. And if you share that with a man, you're going to push him away. So you got to learn how to be clean. The actual feelings might be sadness. You might feel lonely. You might feel needy. You might feel anxious. You got to share real feelings. And then you got to learn how to communicate the actual problem that's going on for you without blaming him. That's how you use feminine communication. Anything else is not going to work very well, because you're going to be disrespecting him, and he's going to feel kind of pushed away, because a man needs respect to be inspired to want to take care of a woman. If you would like help learning how to make these shifts, learning more about how to use feminine communication to communicate your needs, then go below this video, open up the description. You're going to see the links to all of my offers. Some of them are free, some of them are very cost affordable, and then there's my academy program, which is definitely a few dollars more, but that is where you're going to get all the hands-on support, practice with our coaching team and with me, and learn how to implement these shifts into your love life with hands-on support. If you would like help from us to do that, then when you go below this video, go to the academy offer, click thedreamrelationship.com, then book a call with me. We'll talk all about what's going on in your love life, and we'll talk about how to create your dream relationship, and we'll find out if our program is right for you. And if it is, we can talk all about it. We can talk about how you can create that dream relationship with us, and you can decide whether to work with us. If that's you, fantastic. I look forward to that call. We're going to have an absolutely amazing time, and I will see you there. That's it for this one.